Something just dropped. And if you've been following the Pitt since day one, if you've been refreshing every interview, every social media post, every behind-the-scenes crumb you could find, then what our Scott Gemmill just confirmed is going to make your day. Actually, it might make your whole month. Because we finally have a real, concrete, creator-confirmed update on Season 3. Not a rumor. Not a "we're hopeful" non-answer from a press junket. A genuine timeline. A filming window. And a story detail that changes everything about what Season 3 is going to feel like. So let's get into it, because this is big. First, if you're somehow new to the Pitt, let me give you the 30-second version of why this show has taken over the conversation. The Pitt is a medical drama set in a Pittsburgh emergency room, and its defining creative choice is that every episode takes place in real time. One shift. 60 minutes of screen time equals 60 minutes of story time. No flashbacks padding out the runtime. No convenient time jumps to skip the hard parts. Just the relentless, unblinking pressure of an emergency room moving at the speed of actual emergency medicine. The show was created by our Scott Gemmill. It stars Noah Weil, and it arrived on Max with the kind of critical momentum that most shows spend entire seasons trying to build. It's been called one of the most realistic medical dramas ever made. The performances have generated serious awards conversation, and the fan response has been the kind of passionate, obsessive engagement that television executives dream about. This is not a show coasting on goodwill. This is a show that earned every bit of its audience, which is exactly why the Season 3 news matters as much as it does. Gemmill didn't just confirm that the show is coming back. He confirmed when they're filming, and here's the part that should make every fan sit up straight. He confirmed what time of year Season 3 is going to be set in. Filming begins in June, and the story takes place in November. Let that sink in for a second, because on the surface it sounds like simple production logistics. But for a show built the way the Pitt is built, the setting isn't just backdrop. It's architecture. It's story. It's everything. Think about what November means in an emergency room. Think about what November means in Pittsburgh specifically, a city that doesn't ease gently into winter, a city that gets hit hard and fast with the kind of cold that changes how people move through the world, how accidents happen, how illness spreads. Think about flu season arriving in force. Think about the particular exhaustion that medical staff carry into the darker months of the year, when the days are short and the caseload is heavy and the emotional weight of the job becomes almost physically tangible. Season 1 gave us a single shift in the heat and chaos of a summer day. Season 2 has been building on that foundation. And now Season 3 is moving into November, and the implications of that are genuinely fascinating. Here's where it gets interesting. The Pitt has always used its environment as a character. The ER isn't just a location. It's a living, breathing entity that shapes what happens inside it. The volume of patients, the nature of the cases, the pressure on the staff. And November brings a specific kind of pressure that summer simply doesn't. Flu season, respiratory illness, the beginning of the holiday period, which carries its own particular brand of emergency room chaos, stress-related incidents, family tension boiling over, people who have been quietly managing conditions all year finally hitting their limit when the cold sets in. And then there's the possibility, the genuinely exciting, dramatically rich possibility of something bigger. An outbreak, a mass casualty event tied to seasonal illness. A flu strain that overwhelms the hospital's capacity right in the middle of a shift that was already at its limit before the first patient walked through the door. The show has never shied away from putting its characters under maximum pressure. What does maximum pressure look like in November? What does it look like when the waiting room is standing room only and the staff is already running on fumes and something unexpected hits on top of everything else? That's not just speculation for its own sake. That's the logical extension of everything Gemmill has built this show to do. And speaking of things the show has been building, let's talk about Dr. Parker Ellis, because Gemmill's comments about Season 3 weren't just about the timeline. There were signals, clear ones, that Parker Ellis is stepping into a larger role in the season ahead. If you've been watching carefully, Ellis has been one of the most interesting secondary threads of Season 2. A character who exists in a particular middle space, experienced enough to carry real responsibility, still young enough to be shaped by what he's seeing, caught between the institutional pressures that define characters like Al-Hashimi and the frontline emotional reality that defines characters like Robbie. He's been a pressure valve in some scenes and a pressure point in others. Making him more central in Season 3 is a smart move. Not just because the character has earned it, but because the show needs to keep evolving its ensemble. The Pit lives and dies by the depth of its characters, by the audience's investment in the people running that ER, and giving Ellis more space to breathe, more story, more complexity, more moments where his particular position in the hierarchy becomes dramatically meaningful, raises the stakes for everyone around him. Now let's talk about the real-time format, because this is the thing that makes every single creative decision on this show land differently than it would on any other medical drama. When your story takes place in a single shift, in real time, the setting isn't something you ease into. It's something you're dropped into immediately and don't escape until the credits roll. Every detail of that November environment, the cold coming through the doors every time someone is wheeled in, the particular light of a short winter day fading through the windows, the sound of the ER filling up faster than it can be emptied, is going to be present from the first moment of the first episode and will not let go. That's immersive in a way that's almost uncomfortable. And that discomfort is the point. The June filming window is also worth paying attention to for a different reason. It means the production team has time, real time, to get this right. To design a Season 3 that doesn't just repeat what Season 1 and Season 2 have done, but expands it. The success of the show has bought them creative breathing room. And Gemmill is the kind of showrunner who uses that room deliberately. He's not going to walk back into that ER in November without a very specific vision for what it needs to feel like and what it needs to say. The awards attention the show has been generating matters here too. When a show starts collecting that kind of critical recognition, it changes what's possible. The caliber of guest cast you can attract, the story ambitions you can pitch, the resources that get allocated to making sure every frame looks and feels exactly right. Season 3 of The Pit is going to arrive with more eyes on it than any previous season. More expectations, more scrutiny, and more opportunity. That combination, a November setting, a June filming start, an expanded role for a key character, and a showrunner who has already proven he knows exactly what he's doing, adds up to something that should have every fan of this show genuinely excited. Not cautiously optimistic. Not wait and see. Actually excited. Because here's the thing about The Pit that separates it from so much of what else is on television right now. It cares. The writers care about getting the medicine right. The actors care about getting the emotional truth right. The creator cares about making a show that respects both its subject matter and its audience. That care is visible in every episode. It's the reason people aren't just watching it. They're talking about it, rewatching it, dissecting it, feeling things about fictional emergency room doctors that they didn't expect to feel. November in Pittsburgh. A hospital under pressure. Characters we've watched grow and break and survive, stepping back into that ER for another shift. And somewhere in the writer's room, Scott Gemmill is already building the story of what that day is going to look like. June cannot come fast enough. Season 3 of The Pit is shaping up to be the most ambitious, most intense, most emotionally loaded chapter of the show yet. And if you've made it this far in the series, if you've sat through every brutal shift, every impossible decision, every moment where these characters showed you exactly who they're under pressure, then you already know you're not going anywhere. Neither are we. And when that November shift begins, we're going to be ready.